time I'm on. The peace inside is gone. Beef with police was my alarm. They pushed me, think that we pussy. We'll take a look, see what's inside the thong. Don't smoke, I wanna tie a bong. My response, I'm flipping all the shit up. I'm flipping all the shit up.
Peace, y'all. This is the Deadline ROC, and we have a very, very, very special guest, Rochester's very own. Brother, can you introduce yourself, even though you do not need an introduction?
Hello, my name is Shy, TheRealist.
All right, and how are you doing today, sir?
Man, I'm blessed. Thank you for having me. Long time coming, but definitely worth the wait, and something that I needed, and I feel like it'll help the viewers as well.
Mm-hmm. Seeing how a lot of artists, they define themselves, their own narrative is very important. They don't want to be put into a box, so I won't do that. Tell the people, how you would describe your music and your expression.
I am the epitome of an artist, a creative, and an entertainer. Pretty much anything in the realms of entertainment or artistic expression is something that I take seriously. I'm a rapper, a lyricist first, spoken word poet, an actor, a singer, songwriter, and an activist and a black man. I don't really even like to call myself an activist primarily. But I recognize I'm a black man, and I'm all for making sure that us black people are represented properly and our voices are heard, even if it's through mine.
That's real. So tell the people a little bit about, how you came up and, your background.
So where my name is from, I was born in Chicago. I grew up, I didn't really have my mom in my life at all. I didn't meet her until I was 22. So my dad brought me to Rochester because my mom wasn't able to take care of me at the moment. And they gave her an ultimatum to give me to foster care or give me to my father. And my father chose, they chose to, have me go with my father. My father brought me here. And I was raised primarily by my dad, my aunt, and my grandmother. And where I went to school in the 19th Ward. I was raised in the 19th Ward. I went to 44 School, elementary, went to Freddie Thomas High School. Shout out to Scribe to God, who was my mentor, Freddie Thomas. And that's when I found my talent, when I was 14 at Freddie Thomas.
Okay. Do you remember anything about your time in Chicago growing up?
At all. I was a baby. And my dad didn't want to raise me in Chicago, which is understandable. And he admitted that he needed some help raising me. So he had my grandmother as one of my primary guardians.
So it's fair to say that we can kind of say Shy the Realist is Rochester's very own.
Very own. I claim Chicago because it's on my birth certificate, but my life, my journey is dedicated solely to the city of Rochester, New York.
You talked a little bit about you growing up in the 19th Ward. How would you say that influenced your life?
Immensely, because the 19th Ward is really all I really had growing up to really be an example of growing up as a kid. That environment, from Gardner Park to Genesee Valley Park to the pool, to the rec centers, that was all, I really knew as a kid. And I moved all over the 19th Ward, from the Jenny area to Thurston to, primarily Chi-Li. You can't spell Chi-Li without Shy. And it kind of, the people I met in the community, in the hood, was really what gave me an inside look on what life could be at an early age. I've seen bad things happen, and I've seen beautiful things happen, And with both of those, I decided what my path was gonna be. I was really kind of a good kid in Mad City before Kendrick Lamar.
That's real. That's real. And actually, is your name based on Chicago or is it based on Chi-Town, Chi Ave?
Uh, Ironically, Chicago. So, because of my father, I never let anybody forget I was from Chicago because my dad never let me forget I was from Chicago. You know, he had this kind of like Bernie Mac thing where, you know, you're from Chicago. Hey, you know, you're from Chicago. And like, he never let me forget it. And so when I met somebody and there were people, whether there were people in the hood that asked where I'm from, what side of the town I'm from, I'd be like, oh, I'm from Chicago. First off, I'm not from none of this gang stuff. I'm from Chicago. And people would be like, well, why you here? And my brother, not my blood brother, but the closest thing I ever had to one, Devon, he gave me the name Young Shy because he's like, yo, you never let this Chicago stuff die. Like, you never stop. And I'm like, I can't because that's my birth certificate. And I got to remember where I came from. And that was before I grew up and had so much pride for Rochester as I do now. Not to say that my name probably still wouldn't be Shy, but yeah, he gave me that name. So to honor him, I keep it.
That's real. That's real. And so the rest of your name, Realist.
Yes.
You know, like a person that is a realist, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so talk a little bit about that.
It's funny because a lot of times when I say my name out loud, or even some people, you know, see it, they think that it's the term the realest nigga ever or something like that, and it's not, because I don't think that exists. I don't think there's first off, the name realist ever isn't really a dictionary word, but I don't think anybody could really be called the realest nigga ever, the realest person ever. I think that's just a matter of opinion and not a matter of fact. But I am a person who looks at things kind of in the middle of optimistically and pessimistically on the daily, and I use in my music real life experiences to give my real opinion or thesis on it. So that's kind of where the name just kind of gave itself. It was a song I did when I was a kid called TheRealist, and it was on the term of being a realist ever. But as I got older and I started to have these debates in English class, they started to, tell me, you're a really realistic thinker, and boom, Shy the Realist. It just all came together.
That's what's up. A few minutes ago, you were saying that you had seen some, kind of negative things as well as some beautiful things in your upbringing, in your life. Can you share, some of those things?
Definitely, from the violence in the community, to domestic violence, to drugs and drug abuse. And it wasn't as bad as what I've been exposed to as I got older, or not nearly as bad as what some of my students today have been exposed to at an early age, but I grew up in very rough households, so there were times where I've dealt with abuse, or I've dealt with seeing substance abuse and stuff like that. So it being out in the hood and trying to find solitude with my friends often led me to being peer pressured a lot by some of the things that they were doing, but I didn't really look at it as anything negative at the time. I looked at it as family, away from the family that I didn't really have a closeness with in my household.
I see. So what got you to rapping? What influenced that, or what was kind of the catalyst that led you in that direction?
I would say definitely the catalyst for my rapping was the same brother that gave me the name, Young Shy. I actually discovered rap. He helped me discover rap before I even got that name. I had corny, terrible rap names.
Like what?
Damn it.
You can't go past that point unless you give us a little taste of what you're talking about.
First one was Tank. Before I even know that was an R&B singer. Second one was the Chicago Prince.
Okay.
Which I don't know why. I thought that was a cool name. I actually have it engraved in the concrete in the sidewalk on my street.
Yes. Before the concrete finished drying, you always write a little something up in there. Let them know you were there.
Yep.
I know what you mean, brother. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's definitely those were two horrible names, and then he gave me Young Shy, and I got older and I didn't want to keep the young anymore, so I was just Shy, and then that's when the Realist came. But he's the one that got me into rapping. He was an athlete. Of many different, talents and sports. He played basketball, football, he boxed, and he rapped. And we experimented with rapping together, and I wrote my first raps with him, and I just kept going from there.
Do you remember what that first rap was about or any of the lyrics? That question struck a chord, huh?
Whew, my first rap, man. It was extremely corny. But it made the kids in my class, like, they loved it. This is 14-year-old me, so this is 12 years ago. Not to age myself, but it went, James Lucius Boykins III, remember the name, cause one day I'ma be in fame, but don't ever use my name in vain, nigga, cause then I'm gonna cause some pain, like 10 shots through your FMM brain, and this ain't a game, I can make it rain, you know who I claim, SS Bang Gang, and you know the name, Tank, Dice, and Hayes, nigga, and you know the name, Tank, Dice, and Hayes, I hang with my homie Bobby from the Boogie Down, the Boogie Brown, mess with me, I can turn your smile into a dad frown, I'm the king of this rap, as you can see my crown, but your life is like football, this is your fourth down. Terrible.
Hey,
that was it.
Sounds like a first down to me, baby. Hey, okay. Because you were 14 at that point?
14.
Yeah, that's better than a lot of sign rappers that can put out today, throughout their whole album. That's cool. That's cool. That sounds like a good start. You said your classmates liked it, though.
Yeah, man. So rap for me, at first, after that, I made a lot of raps around that same time period. Including my first song, which was called Life of a Teenager, which I talked about my motherless upbringing. Not to forget about the question, but to go back, when I was in elementary, I was bullied a lot. And this kind of piggybacks off of this question. So I was bullied a lot and picked on all throughout elementary, middle school, and up to my junior year. And so because I didn't have a mom in my life, to avoid being picked on by her not being in my life, I would say that my mom was dead. I was hurt by her not being in my life, not coming to my aid when I needed her to be. So I would tell everybody my mom was dead. When I was in the 8th grade, when I started rapping, I wrote my first song called Life of a Teenager, in which I confessed that she was alive. And a few songs after that, my narrative for rapping was to tell my story, or to kind of be what I am now, before I knew right now was being a vessel to tell my story for others. But it was really just to talk about my life. And then people started thinking I was dope. And all that bullying stuff, like where I still got picked on, it kind of went out the window. So people thought I was good at something. So it was no longer the fat ass or the fat kid or fat James or none of those things. It was always like, yo, James, rap that rap that you rap. And so at that moment, it became a reputation builder for me. So I started to get better and wanting and striving to get better at rapping, just so that way I could keep impressing my classmates. It was kind of like, you bring your lunch money to school so you don't get your lunch taken. Well, I'll write these raps so that way people don't mess with me, or people keep talking about how dope I am rather than how not dope I am. Then I started to fall in love with it. And then that's when everything changed.
So it was meant to be.
Yeah.
And this is a vessel for you. It's a vehicle for you.
Yeah.
Okay, that's real. And so in terms of your music at that point in time, were there certain artists that you were listening to and you're like, you know what, Man, I listen to this, man, and I find myself in a whole other world. You know, that may have influenced and inspired you. What? Who was that artist or artists?
I'll say at that time period when I was really, really focused on impressing, it was Lil Wayne heavily. Lil Wayne heavily. And that's when I learned punchlines. I learned bar metaphor, like bar setups and stuff like that. And the same way Wayne would 1 2 3 4 punchline, I would 1 2 3 4 punchline, and I would focus on having dope lines and dope bars and stuff like that. And that became who I was as a rapper up until like 2015. And I was heavily around 2011 influenced by J. Cole. And so like the J. Cole and Kendrick mixed with the Wayne influence and Drake even. And then I became a sponge to everybody because to this point now I can recall influences from Meek Mill, from Eminem, from Lil Wayne, J. Cole, Kendrick Lamar, Chance the Rapper, Joyner Lucas, Boz, Earth Gang. It's just, it never ends. T.I., Luda. I study everybody. Anytime somebody did something that was cool, I look at it, I take notes on how they did it, and I'd apply it to myself.
What would you say is important about being a student of the game, as you kind of just described, you know, kind of your idea of being a student of the game by mentioning all those artists? Well, why would you say that's important?
It's important because you ain't that if your aim is to be the best for one, you can only be the best by studying the best. For two, you gotta know what you stepping into when you are trying to do any endeavor, and you have to know who laid the foundation for you to even be able to do that today, because that's the only way that you're gonna be able to do it effectively, or carry the torch for who left it lit before. And so for me, I studied rappers because either my aim was to tell a story or my aim was to impress at whatever time period it was. So I
What you
listened
just
to rappers
witnessed
who told
was
stories
king
or impressed me.
shit.
So that way I can learn how to also do the same thing with my music. So it's very important if you want to do anything, even music, or I did it with poetry, or even acting, you got to study the best in order to actually know what direction to go in or what direction to stay away from.
Right. Can you talk about your experience in LA and how that's influenced your hustle and influenced your music and the like?
So moving to LA was a journey, especially because I was the little city kid um, who finally left the nest. I was no longer in the home with my grandmother. Didn't have those home cooked meals. I had to really learn how to adult and also chase a dream. And the way that my mind is wired, if anybody knows me, the only thing on my mind is art. That's the only thing on my mind is figuring out how I'm gonna release this project, how I'm gonna put this project together, how many songs I gotta write, what song I gotta write, or what is gonna influence the next song, or listening to another artist's song and stuff like that. So um, being out in LA, it kind of influenced me in a different way to make music differently. Um, because there the music is different. There weren't any like there wasn't heavy lyricism like there is here. Like how the rappers that I kind of cling to here, there wasn't a lot of that. There wasn't really any of that that I was meeting, and even the poets, there weren't a lot of spoken word slam poets that I was around, like my rock bottom family here. So I had to create differently. Not had to, but it influenced me to. So I became more of a songwriter. I started focusing on different sounds. I started singing, um, which I already sung before I started rapping. Nobody knew, but I started to actually use it because it's a singer city in LA, and everybody's singing. And so I had to learn to hustle. I had to learn to prioritize things and deal with my mental health on a different level. I didn't have a lot of my escapes that I have here, which were, calling up some friends and hanging with friends and stuff like that. I had to really uh, take control of my own life at the same time chasing a dream. I wasn't taught a lot of that. I wasn't taught to be a hustler. So I had to really become a hustler in any way that I could there. And it's something I'm still learning. And so, growing up quick is what LA made me do. It made me grow up real quick. Because LA, if you're not a hustler or if you're not confident, it'll tear you up. And it made me confident. And it made me more of a hustler than I was.
I see. And so culturally, the city of Los Angeles versus culturally the city of Rochester / I guess the regions in comparison, how would you describe the difference in your opinion?
It's very laid back. As I say, as I lay back,
Right.
I say that it's very laid back. It's very vibey. Where in New York as a rapper, we bar you up. They don't really focus on bars there. It's really like how the song make you feel. It's really what I'm saying, in a sense. It's more of, if I could really give an example, you have, they love Nip. Of course, we all love Nip, but the music had that same feel of it. Nip didn't bar you up. Nip didn't have to bar you up. Nipsey didn't have to have punchlines because what he was saying was the punchline. And a lot of people, associated me saying that, oh, LA, they don't bar you up with, oh, they whack rappers. No, they're not whack rappers. They just don't have the same culture as us. I mean, like, even the musicality out there, hip hop beats were very like dirty and drums and just boom bap. So you had to really say things. It was really more of a what you say than how you say it, because it's boom bap. It's a dry, like, blank canvas beat. But out there you had grooves and funk. So it didn't matter what you say, but how you say it to that funk. So that kind of is still in the culture there. So I had to really learn that it wasn't really, and as an artist, it helped me because it didn't really matter what I said, but how I said it. But since I'm already naturally a lyricist from NY, I already kind of have the what I say embedded in me. Lyricism is never gonna leave me, so I just tied that with using my lyricism in a melodic way, or using my flow in a more hypnotizing way, so that you catch how I say it, then you come back and catch what I said. So that's what LA did.
Okay, cool. I allow for the pause so it's easier to edit. All right. So then also, how would you describe the cultural difference between the people, just interacting with the people, and how the people may interact with you? From that standpoint, is LA any different, or is LA the same?
Very different. Very different. I feel like New Yorkers are way more blunt, and in times very more aggressive and assertive. And that laid back vibey culture is not only in the music, but just in regular life. Like me, I'm a chill person, but I'm still very like blunt, and like I talk fast, and I'm very high energy, and people aren't really like that unless they aren't from LA. And I meet a lot of people that aren't naturally from LA. It's almost more of a melting pot than what I would expect New York City to be, because if people leave their city and start a whole new life in LA. And that's the thing, with people starting a whole new life in LA, a lot of people don't really know who they are. So you trying to figure out who they are, it kind of doesn't really. You'll be, it'll be a lost cause. A lot of people kind of get lost in the LA lifestyle. Everybody's trying to get something from somebody or become something or look like they are something. So it's very opportunistic. It's a very opportunistic culture. And you have to kind of navigate through that because there are real ones, but it's kind of hard to find. And everybody is some of the more realer people are way more guarded because the culture in LA is a little snaky from time to time, and so I stay to myself because I'm a genuine person, but I'm also a very blunt person. Sometimes that kind of pushes people away because I'm really like kind of get down to the what you talking about, like what's poppin' or what are you trying to do, and it's a different it's a lot it's a lot. LA is it's a lot to navigate.
What's an example of some of this?
So networking in LA, like I said, if you don't have confidence, it'll chew you up. People look for somebody that looks like they're something, and because people have all the opportunity in LA, a lot of people care more for how they look than who they are internally. They care more for their external than their internal. Because of the expenses in LA, there are a lot of people that are homeless. But there are people who could be homeless, and I've met people who are homeless but have 13,000 followers on Instagram, and you'll never know that they were homeless on their social media, but they have a gym membership just to take a shower. I've met people who literally dress nice but live in a kind of a subpar living situation, or a roommate in a studio apartment with like not even like a room, like just like a little divider, but they have designer on. Because and they go to the events with that designer because of the fact that they're hoping to see somebody that can elevate their lifestyle to become what they look like. And everybody is kind of on that come up. So if you don't benefit them, it's kind of like the connection is kind of cut short. I've networked with people and had a good rapport, so I thought, and we follow each other on social media, and then a week later they unfollow me. Or they put their number in my phone to contact and talk later, and I try to contact and talk later, and they don't respond to my text message. Or they get my number just so that they can invite me to whatever they're doing, so they have more numbers, so it can look like they are cool and have more friends. Or to send me the links to their stuff so I can listen to their stuff so they can have more views. It's all about so they can have more or look like they have more. A lot of people buy followers, buy views just to look like they have more. I've asked somebody what did they do to get more views on their more streams, and I thought they were going to give me a networking strategy. They sent me a link to how to buy streams, and they said don't tell nobody. This is how I do it. You can't put everybody onto this because we have to be the only ones that, that kind of thing. And it's like, that's the culture in LA. So that's it.
All right, so you're back in Rochester, and you got some new projects out. Can you talk about your present projects?
My last single was called Flipping Shit Over. It was probably the most important song that I've released so far. And it was really just a microscope into my brain and how I was feeling at the peak of George Floyd and Breonna Taylor happening when I was in LA, and how I was afraid to protest for a time period because I was alone out there and I didn't really have a camp. I didn't have a buddy to go and protest with, and I had PTSD from protesting here in 2016 with the Philando Castile and Alton Sterling protests. And people asking me as an artist, I know you have something to say, so why haven't you said anything yet? And so I said, you know, they say pain inspires song. Everybody want to know what time I'm on. The peace inside is gone. The beef with police was my alarm. They pushed me. Think that we pussy. We'll take a look, see. I was inside the thong. Don't want smoke, I want entire bomb. My response, I'm flipping all the shit over.
Hey, nice. He integrated the lyric effortlessly into the interview. Well, let's take a step back though. You made a comment about the protests in 2016. Just a bit of context. At the time, the activist group Black, which stands for Building Leadership and Community Knowledge, founded in and around August 12th, 2014, right after Mike Brown died, which I believe was August 8th of 2014.
9th.
9th? Uh-oh, I stand corrected. August 9th. And the group Black was formed, and it was very kind of proactive in doing many different things. Protesting, of course, was one of them. Adrian Elam is one of the founders, among other people. But the protest at that time, which I believe was somewhere around July 16th, or thereabouts of 2016. That was a pretty intense protest. I know somewhere around 74. Yeah, you know the numbers.
I was one of 74. That was my hashtag.
Okay, so you were arrested.
I was.
Okay.
I was, and I saw a lot of my friends beaten that night by officers. Friends who are pastors, dropped on their face. And so they obviously, by me saying their title as pastor, you know, truthfully, they had no ill intentions, nothing, no evil nature, nothing that would warrant them being dropped on their face, handcuffed. I saw women attacked. I saw people who were allies with bloody noses and bruised faces. And I also saw dozens upon dozens of people who were not involved in the protest arrested, who were literally poking their head out of the bar scene on that street, East Ave, to see what was going on, and they were arrested. So I spent the night handcuffed in jail. My handcuffs were not released. I was not booked. I was not processed. I didn't get a mug shot. I didn't get fingerprinted. But I was stuck in handcuffs overnight with people who didn't even know what the hell was going on. I was the last person to leave. It was a very traumatizing experience for me. Seeing as though like I had money in my pocket when I got arrested, and I didn't get that money back.
Word?
Yeah.
How much? What type of shit is that? Those motherfuckers.
I forgot the number. It wasn't like racks or nothing, but it was like money. Like I didn't get it back.
So you had like at least a good, a little bit of change. You had some good meal money.
Yeah, definitely some good meal money, and but it was a traumatizing experience, and so. I kind of stepped back from protesting and started using my activism in a different way, which was being a youth mentor in the city, where I worked for a lot of organizations, volunteering and employment-wise, to kind of empower the youth with my artistry and just with my knowledge as well. So, which one of my students, RIP, was Sean Curry.
Rest in peace indeed. Rest in peace indeed. So, let me ask you kind of just like a simple, concise kind of question. If you had the opportunity to collaborate with one or two artists in the city of Rochester, who would those people be? You don't have to get too elaborate too deeply. Just throw a few names out there.
How many names can I give? Oh man, this is hard.
You could run through it since you got more than two, clearly.
D Pounder.
Okay.
Absolutely. Lil Perko. Shout out to Lil Perko. Oh man, this is tough. This is the 38 Special.
Okay. Okay.
Absolutely. That's OG. That's my OG. Uh, Lil West.
Okay.
Um, Cammy and Aharo.
Oh yeah,
Um,
yeah. I could. Yeah, I
yeah.
could see that'd be very unique. Yeah.
Uh, Ishmael Raps. Kizza K. Lee.
Okay.
Um, Moses Rockwell. Um,
Oh, okay.
Scribe to God.
Scribe to God. Yes, sir.
Hassan. Um, man, that I'm gonna stop
Yeah, yeah.
there.
That no, that was a good list. That was a
Yeah.
good list. So the rap scene in Rochester. What are your thoughts about the rap scene in Rochester? Just kind of generally.
Um, it could be a lot tighter. Um, we need more unity. We need more selflessness. And we need more of the culture of if your homie closer to the rim, pass the ball. Uh, and that's what I said to Lil Perko, because he asked we've been talking more now because we are two different generations. He's 17 years old. I'm 26. Um, but I look at Lil Homie and I see Lil Homie up next. His sound is a sound that is the wave now. You know what I mean? And a lot of people who are older or my age who don't really know him will kind of rule him out because he's not a conventional hip hop artist. But homie got bars. All right. First, Lil Perko is what you would call like people will put him in the box of like a little baby. Um, but me and Perko were freestyling together, and he was barring me up like we was going at it. Uh, and I told him that you up next, and anything I can do to help you, I will. And it's not taking anything away from me because I'm still gonna get it on my own accord. But I still have any knowledge, any resources that I can give to help him, and we need more of that. If I see a status saying who's the best rapper in Rochester, it shouldn't be filled with a bunch of people trying to say me, oh me, I'm the best. Well, no, I'm the best, or just tagging they homie. It should be an opportunity for if you do say yourself, okay, say yourself. Um, Look at the people who are commenting. I saw a post that had over 400 comments, 100 something shares. That was probably over like 1,000 artists tagged. That's enough people for everybody who's not an artist. Let's just say that, not an artist, to go and find a new artist today. Listen to a new artist. And if you are an artist, go find someone you can support. Go find someone you can give some knowledge to. Because I was talking about the development in artists, and I feel like the city, our standard needs to be a little higher. We don't have an industry standard. So a lot of people are putting out songs that are not high quality or having artwork that's not high quality because they can't afford it or because they can't do this, or they don't have the knowledge to do this and that. If you're an artist that has a platform, if you're an artist that's eating, be a mentor to an artist that needs it. And if you're an artist that needs it, be a student. Understand, take the help. You can't do it on your own. None of these artists that we listen to now have done it on their own. Regardless of how self-made they try to sound or act like they are, they didn't do it on their own. Somebody believed in them. Somebody gave them the bread. Something happened. And so what needs to happen is there needs to be more of a community. There needs to be an ecosystem. Artists need to take accountability for the fact that if you popping in this city, you are going to influence somebody else to want to be popping like you. So take accountability for who you're leading and help. And if you are trying to pop, understand that it's okay to ask for help. I might not be able to help you by sharing your song. I might not be able to help you by listening to your song, but if you ask me a question, I can answer it, even if it's quick. Ask me a question, I can help you. But I'm not going to honestly help you by sharing your song. I'm going to be 100%. A lot of the times when people ask me to share their song, I ignore it because I'm not going to help you by that. Because that didn't help me. Because I was in everybody's inbox asking, yo, can you share my song? Hey, listen to this. Half of the people listened. That was a lot of labor for me. And even them listening to it, what'd it do? Give me a couple of views in Rochester. But it didn't really help me. So, but if I was to reach out to and I didn't, but if I was to reach out to like a 38 when I was younger, and 38 was able to respond and give me some game, that would have helped me a lot more than being 38. Yo, share this song. So you got to think, like, always be ready to ask the questions that you need to ask to get further. I had to learn that in LA when I'm going to the Revolt Summit and I'm surrounded by Diddy and TDE and Snoop Dogg and all of these big Killer Mike, all of these people who I have an opportunity to ask these questions to, but I didn't have my questions ready. So you got to think like that. Like that's something that's a little nugget that I could give to Rochester artists. But what we need more development. We need more community. We need more support for each other. And we can't be expecting other artists to be our fans. That's another thing. That's tough. And it hurts me because I have people that don't like me because I'm not able to support them like their fan. Because I'm also a fellow colleague. I'm an artist. I don't have time to listen to your song, bro. I'm sorry. I don't. I barely have time to listen to J. Cole. And J. Cole, that's my idol. So J. Cole drop an album, I'm not going to listen to him until next week. So I not to say that he's more important than you, but if I can't listen to my idol, I'm not going to probably have time to listen to your song, bro. So, but don't hate me for it. Because just because I can't be your fan don't mean I don't love you. Don't mean I don't rock with you. And you can't expect a fan from another artist. And it's hard because you connect with another artist because they artist good and you want to support them. I understand that. But if you have the ability to support, maybe you should think of another way to utilize your time. I'm sorry. I don't know how else to say it. Not to say don't support me, but don't expect another artist to support you. Sorry.
So, with your current stuff, if you just want to talk about what you have out right now, and what's coming up.
I've been silently working on the album. I'm not gonna give any details on it. But Flipping Shit Over was one of the songs that's gonna be a part of it. I'm working on 4 projects as we speak.
Damn.
I've been working a lot. I'm not going to give any names or any dates because I don't believe in talking about anything until I can deliver it to you that day. So,
it's real.
The video for Flipping Shit Over is in progress right now as we speak. Shout out to the Renaissance NY for making that happen. That's my guy. And thank you for everybody who was a part of that, this experience. My movie, City, has just won 3 awards in 3 different film festivals, including Best Soundtrack, which I did work on the soundtrack, and Best Feature Film in New York City and San Antonio and San Francisco. And we're currently international. We are in the UK right now in a film festival. So shout out to City. Was a feature film that was filmed here in Rochester by Rochester. I'm one of the stars. My guy Uncle Trent, who's a part of it. Sadiq Muhammad, who's a part of it. Oz, who's also a part of it. And my little bro KT, the gangster rapper, is also a part of it as well. And he was in the soundtrack as well.
Word.
Yeah.
That's what's up. All right, well, let's bring it home, brother. What's your list of shout-outs, and how can folks reach you on social media?
I just want to shout out anybody in Rochester who's an artist who's trying to do their thing. It's not hard. I mean, it's not easy, but at the same time, it's not hard either. As long as you have your dedication, as long as you keep your eye on the prize. For my young artists, have tunnel vision, have perseverance. Do not give up, no matter how hard it gets. Nothing in life that you want is gonna come easy. Shout out to my bro Tremaine Elliott, R.I.P. I always gotta give honor to him because he pushed me further. for all my social medias, you can find me under everything as Shy_TheRealist. That's CHI.
They have weaponized hate, and I'm here to tell y'all we gotta weaponize love. Until we believe that we truly love each other, weaponize it, use it as a weapon. I love you enough to die for it. I love you enough to kill for it. Because until we believe that, they gonna keep their knees on our necks. They gonna keep their bullets in our flesh. They gonna keep their foot